Hello everyone, my name is Misty Fiello. In 2015, I had a pacemaker implanted for complete heart block. I have since lost about 40 pounds, run 4 half marathons with a personal best time of 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I am currently training for a marathon. As a matter of fact, I'm about to have my favorite pre-run snack of a stroop waffle and peanut butter, and I'm gonna head out the door. Actually, the weather's kind of bad. I'm not sure. We'll see. If it's thundering and lightning, I'm going to do a 6-mile treadmill run. If not, I'm going to head out the door for a 10K. But I wanted to create a video today to share with you guys how I was able to cut half an hour off of my half marathon time. So I ran my first half marathon in February of 2019 with a time of 2 hours and 45 minutes, and then just about 2 hours later, two years later, in December 2021, I ran it with a personal best time of 2 hours and 15 minutes. I know that doesn't seem like an amazing fast time, but cutting half an hour in a half marathon is huge. And you know, I just from here, I'm hoping to cut it even more, and I want to share with you guys what I did to be able to cut that time off of my half marathon. So in the first half marathon that I ran, I set out for the run. I think that morning I had a Gatorade and a Luna bar. And then I did not fuel at all the rest of the race, which was absolutely stupid. I know that lots of half marathoners will run half marathons on no fuel or just on their breakfast, but most of those runners are elite or at least above average in speed, and they can run a half marathon in under 90 minutes. For slower runners like me, my first half marathon time was 2 hours and 45 minutes. I absolutely needed to be taking on some fuel. The general rule of thumb is to take on 30 to 60 carbohydrates about every hour. So for the half marathon that I ran in 2 hours and 15 minutes, I had developed a fueling strategy where I took a goo about every 3 to 4 miles. Some of my favorite goos, I really like the salted watermelon for when it's hot outside. That's a very southern flavor. I'm from South Mississippi. I really like this one, but it might be an acquired taste. I also really like espresso love and caramel macchiato. Those are good because they come with a little boost of caffeine. Salted watermelon has caffeine as well, but these have a little extra caffeine, so they might give you a little extra kick. And I also really like mandarin orange. This one, if you're starting to feel a little sick to your stomach in a race, is kind of like vanilla. It's kind of like, it's not the most tasty, like caramel macchiato is like such an indulgent flavor, but this one is like, it's fine and it doesn't upset my stomach as much as some of the other flavors will. You can also try like some chews, like Honey Stinger, make some energy chews. There are also just like Cliff or Gatorade makes products that you can usually just pick up at Academy or Dick's Sporting Goods. I order a lot of my stuff off of Amazon because I want it to be able to get the products that work well for my stomach. I will say that goo, when I'm starting to go up in marathon distance, is not really working so well for my tummy anymore. After about 3 or 4 goos, I start to get sick to my stomach. So I've made some switches to have trying candy corn and Swedish fish, which is an odd choice, but it seems to be working for me lately. And I'm also gonna give some little honey packets a try. So really develop a fueling strategy that works for you. But start practicing it early because it can take some time to develop a strategy that doesn't upset your stomach, that will work for you on race day. So you want to give yourself lots of time, start practicing on your weekend long runs, what fueling strategy is going to work for you on race day, and then stick to it. Nothing new on race day. Don't let somebody at the starting line convince you that you need to try some goo you've never tried before on the starting line. That is a recipe for disaster. Because if you're anything like me, in your first half marathon, I had 2 goals. I have 2 goals for my marathon. I want to finish the race and I want to not poop my pants. So develop a fueling strategy and start practicing it early. Oh, you can also try these. These are delicious. Stroop waffles. Honey Stinger makes these Stroop waffles. And while I find that they don't really work for me for running fuel during a race, they're really good for before. I put peanut butter on it. That's what I'm having before my run today. I also highly recommend that you find some way to hydrate with either water or some kind of electrolyte drink that doesn't involve the aid stations. I know that in the first half marathon that I did, I either would miss the aid station or I'd bottleneck really bad in the aid station, and it really slowed down my race. So for my second half marathon, I picked up this hydration vest off of Amazon. It's an Osprey hydration vest. It is about $89 on Amazon. This one is an extra small size. I typically wear small, sometimes medium in my regular clothes, but you really want your hydration vest to fit snugly so that it doesn't jostle around a lot while you run. I really feel like this helped me cut a lot of time on my half marathon. And those things, the fuel, getting the hydration right during race day, are some very easy tweaks that you can do that really don't require you to change your fitness all that much. Hey, buddy. Of course, after having said that, there really is no magic bullet for getting faster at a half marathon. If you want to run faster, you are going to have to focus on getting fitter. It may not be a particularly popular thing to discuss, but at my first half marathon, I was still overweight. I was maybe 165, 170 pounds. And then in the half marathon that I ran at 2 hours and 15 minutes, I was at about 140 pounds, which is a healthy weight for me. So I had built up more lean muscle mass and lost some fat, which I think had a lot to do with why my half marathon time was faster. Another thing that you can do to increase your fitness is add some speed work to your workouts. If you're thinking about running a half marathon, or you've already run a half marathon, you've done a lot of aerobic base building running where you run at an easy, comfortable pace and gradually build yourself up to half marathon distance over time. But you maybe haven't started working in speed work. And you can add speed work in a sneaky way. You can find a short hill and you can run up that hill and jog down and run up that hill and jog down over and over again to add in some sneaky speed work. Or you can do, you don't have to overcomplicate it. You can run a quarter of a mile at a fast pace. You can jog or walk a quarter of a mile to recover and then repeat for however long, your 5K, whatever is on the session for that day. One thing, I really like 1 mile repeats. That's one of my favorites. I'll run a mile kind of at my goal race pace or faster, and then I will walk to recover. And once I've recovered, I'll run another 1 mile repeats 3 or 4 times, whatever I have planned for that day. One way that you can add some speed work without really thinking about it at all, and this is one of my favorite workouts, it's super fun. I'll put some music in. I've developed like the perfectly curated playlist on Amazon Music. I'll have to share that in another video, but I'll put some music on and I will run a mile in a sprint, and then I'll run a mile. Well, I'll start at kind of a comfortable pace. So I'll run a mile, warm up, run a song, warm up, and then I'll run a song at a really fast pace. And then at the next song, I'll let myself run slow to recover. And then at the next song, I'll run at a really fast pace. It's one of my favorite. Every other song is a sprint, recover, one of my favorite speed sessions. Another thing that you can do is add some strength training into your workout. I think in other videos, I have said that if you are just getting started with strength training and you have no idea where to begin, one thing that I suggest is going to YouTube and looking up Yoga with Adriene. Yoga with Adriene is great for pre-run warm-ups and post-run cooldowns, but it's also a really good way to add in some core work and some strength training in a way that you maybe wouldn't think about. Great for people who are just getting started out with strength training. Like going to the gym and starting to lift weights can be intimidating in the beginning, but just popping in popping on a YouTube video that's 20 minutes long and doing some sneaky core work isn't intimidating at all. You can be in your pajamas in your living room. No one will ever see or know or judge you. Another thing that I like to do is just like some old-fashioned push-ups. In the beginning though, when I was just getting fit, I could not do push-ups anymore. When I was younger, I was in the military. I could do push-ups, but I couldn't do them after my pacemaker when I was trying to get fit again. So I found that when I did push-ups on my knees, what they call girl push-ups, I was never gonna work up the strength that I needed to switch to doing regular push-ups. And so one thing you can do is start on like an incline, like you can use your counter in your kitchen and gradually lower that incline to maybe your coffee table if it's sturdy enough. But I didn't find that was the way that got me to being able to do push-ups. What got me to being able to do push-ups, I'm gonna see if I can move the camera so you can see. I would start in a plank like I was gonna do a push-up, and I would lower myself all the way to the ground. And then I would rest on the ground and push myself back up into a plank until I could do regular push-ups. And another way to kind of sneak in strength training if you're a little intimidated and don't know where to start is to do an inchworm with a push-up at the end. So for an inchworm, I'm not very good at filming yet. So for an inchworm, you will start in this standing position and you will walk your hands all the way out until you're in a plank pose. Not move your feet, I just can't show you. Walk all the way out until you're into a plank pose and then lower yourself to a push-up and then back up and then walk your hands back to your feet. And if you do 50 of those or 100 of those, that is some serious core work, full body workout. Give that a try if you don't know where to start. The good news though is that if you are committed and consistent, that's really what it takes. Obviously, the 50th time you run 13 miles, it's a lot easier than the first time you run 13 miles. So stick with it and don't give up on yourself. Until the next video, keep moving and remember how lucky you are.